Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, May 6th. And man, can you believe it? It's already May. It's already May. It's about to be summer, man. But it feels like it's summer right now. Like if you live like where I live, like, Central California. Not like San Francisco, not the mountains, not LA, not San Diego, by the coast or whatever, by a beach. But if you live like in the Central Valley like me, and you walk outside, and then around this time of year, it's when it really starts to get hot. Like in May, it gets warm, really warm. And I'm not talking about like a mild warm or like a humid warm. I'm talking about like a dry as a bone warm. Like, I'll say this. A dry heat, I would assume, in what I've heard, it is better than a humid heat. Some people who've gone to Texas, who've gone to the East Coast, Florida, whatever, But I've never really, obviously I've never been to those places, but like, it's hard for me to believe that people actually live in those places where it's humid. Like you walk out of your house, and just like a blanket of like moist warm air, and you live like that. Because you look on like, if you see people like that are videos online, or whether it be the news of people in Florida, they don't even look, hot. They look fine. Like, oh yeah, it's Florida, it's hot, but yeah, it's basically it. Like, I feel like if I went to Florida, or if I went to Texas, or, a southern state where it's like humid and shit, man, I wouldn't even want to go outside. I would literally be drenched in sweat. And you kind of think that, oh, thank God I live in California. Even though it's a dry heat. For the majority of the time, it's dry heat. Sometimes there's no wind, dry, and it just really, and this is not even the hottest. It gets hotter. It gets like 105, 110 sometimes. Really, really hot. And I can say that I'm glad that I don't live in the East Coast or in the South or, Texas or whatever, because, man, I couldn't do it. I'd be like, oh, I just walked outside, now I gotta change because I'm a mess. I just showered. Why did I even shower? I'm already wet again. Just dried off, and now I'm already wet. But I think the same thing would apply to somebody from Florida who came here in the summer. Like, they come here, and usually, like in Florida, like the hottest I think I've seen like it get is like maybe 100, maybe 105, maybe, but because it's usually because of the humidity that makes it worse. Like they'd be like at a cool ass 95, 96, whatever. And then that, for them, that is hot because of the humidity and just being, warm and moist and all that. Here, it gets to like 110, and it's dry. Like, it's a different beast, different animal, different climate. And I don't know if they could handle it, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like in Miami and all that, Florida, you're by swamps, a lot of surrounded by the ocean. Obviously the state's not as big as California, so like there's an ocean like on either side of you, west or east. You can just dip in the ocean if you want, but I've also heard that the water is very, very warm. So like that just makes it even worse. Like you're in a hot place, humid place, and then like you want to go to the ocean, take a dip. Then you're just in like a freaking hot tub. In the summer, it's like, I mean, like, I get like the nightlife, the clubs, the lights, the partying. I get that, but I kind of wonder if it's worth getting in the ocean like in Florida or the East Coast even. Like New York, I guess you could be like, New York, the water in New York, I'm not sure if it's warm or hot or cold. I'm not sure because I'm so used to the beaches in California, on the West Coast, just being like, frigid temperatures, pretty cold, refreshing, because if you were to go like to Pismo Beach or like Avila Beach or like Santa Cruz, Morro Bay, whatever, like the water there is, freezing pretty much. But it feels good because if you go in the summer, like it usually might get like maybe 80 degrees there. Sometimes it gets hotter, but like usually like if it gets like a hot day, like in Pismo, it's like maybe 85, maybe even colder. I don't know, but like still you got that sun beating down on you. Like you want to go take a dip in the ocean, and it's nice and refreshing. It feels good. It feels like, yeah, this is not a hot tub. This is the ocean. I'm not like, even though like Miami's beaches look amazing with the clear water and the white sandy beaches, they look amazing. I've seen pictures and, videos of like people in Miami. It would look really, really cool to go there and just like, have fun. But if it's just humid the entire time, like I don't know if I could do it. Like and I wouldn't go to Florida like dressing like how I do right now. I would go to Florida like Pitbull almost, but with hair. Pitbull with hair. Like I would go there with, I wouldn't even like mess around. I would just get like with my dress code, by the way. I would just like go with a white suit, like kind of like a loosely buttoned shirt and a white fedora, or not a white, like a straw fedora, like I'm in vacation mode. Like how you see those people like on vacation, like they wear like a fedora or like like a vacation type of hat. I would wear one of those to indicate that, yeah, I'm on like break. I'm on vacation mode. I'm enjoying my life right now. I'm having some fun. That's what I would do, because I would kind of want to fit that whole scene. Try to blend in, like, oh, I'm from here. We all dress like this, or you know what I'm saying? Like I know, like, just looking at me, hearing the way I talk, maybe if I'm like the way I react to people, like, oh, you're not from here, are you? Like, no, I'm actually not. But I wonder, like, if it's just like all, like played out, like Miami's like this party city, this party town, all the beaches, the clubs, the beautiful women. Like, what if that is just like a small section of Miami? Right, and like the rest of it is just kind of like, like an actual place. Like people got to go to work, people got to pay their bills, taxes, and all that. People got to do their jobs. I always think that like Miami's always like in spring break mode all the time, but I'm pretty sure that's not. But every time you see it, it's always beautiful. It's always sunny. It's always fucking partying. But you know what? Florida also gets like a ton of hurricanes. And it almost kind of like makes you wonder, how do these cities, stay afloat? Like, a hurricane would come, as bad as it may be, within like a week or two. Like sometimes, the majority of the time, the city's like back to normal, or maybe it's, it doesn't seem like that. Like you look at videos of like people like in Miami when there's a hurricane or a tropical storm or whatever. And like I've seen videos where like people just like kind of brush it off, like, oh yeah, there's a storm, like everything was shaking, we had to like shut everything down, we had to block everything, board everything up, and all that. And yeah, the next morning they're fine. Like, oh, did nothing happen then? Like there was a hurricane, right? Like, yeah, but it's gone now, or the eye already passed, or oh, we're just here waiting for the eye so we can like kind of like go out and do stuff. Like, what? Like, because I'm from California, we don't get those at all. Like, not even close. Like, you would think like a hurricane might get here because the beaches and all that, but it's totally different because of the the Gulf of Mexico. Like, just makes the water in the Atlantic so warm, and that just makes it's like almost like a breeding ground of hurricanes and tropical storms, because it's just so warm there and so hot. And the currents just pick up and all that. And I don't know the exact, specifics of how a hurricane starts, but I feel like it's just a breeding ground. Like it's like bound to create hurricanes and tropical storms. So like in the West Coast, when it's cold water and, decent weather, it's not as bad because, colder water, scientists, go ahead and fact check me. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong. But yeah, but in California though, we got to deal with fire. We got to deal with wildfires. Like, I don't think that nobody can really handle the wildfire. Nobody, because it burns everything to the ground. There's no way you can, hurricanes, you kind of have a little bit of time to evacuate. There's always like a bit of a warning. There's like a forecast of when it's going to land, or it's projected to, the route that it's projected to go through, the when it hits land. But a wildfire, that is not predictable at all, because it could be like, it could be natural. It could be caused by humans. You know what? Isn't like natural kind of, isn't like human cause also natural? If you think about it, because we are, we're humans, we live here. So everything that we do is like kind of natural, right? Like I know like it's like, it's not like, I mean, how would you put it? Like, what would be unnatural? Like, what do they say? Like, always like a firework or or gender reveal of a baby or whatever. Like, that's an unnatural cause, right? But at the end of the day, it's caused by us. So it's like, are we just not part of the earth? Do we not count? I've always wondered that. Like, I always wonder, like, not a natural cause. Like, well, then what is a natural cause? Just like heat and like, like a unfortunate spark of something. Like, what is natural then? If we aren't a natural cause, then what is it? I always been kind of like, wondering what that meant. Like, by natural causes, this wildfire, erupted and like, boom, it's done. But like, back to the wildfires, like, there was like a point like last year where like the wildfires were getting close to where I live. And I was like, are we going to have to evacuate? Do we have to like move somewhere? What's happening here? Because California, again, like, it is, people might tell you this, like, it is kind of a desert. It's pretty much a desert. We just live there. We got like or not the Mojave Desert and all that. We, when you want to go to like Nevada, that's where it gets like really like deserty areas where like there's, it's just like nothing but like dryness and all that. But like usually like when it happens, it's like, I believe like the creek fires were like more up north, like where Shaver Lake is, and usually like that, Shaver Lake, you would think that, well, that should be more, not as dry as you would like, probably assume like the Mojave Desert or like Death Valley or whatever. But it started like around there, and I was just like, that doesn't even make any sense. So like, I guess you can say like that's an unnatural cause, because I believe it was a gender reveal. I think it could have been something else, but like, to my knowledge, it was that. I could be wrong. But like, you think about it, like, nobody prepares for that. You can't prepare for that. It's going to happen. It's going to spread so quickly you can't really react. You're going to be like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And then houses are burned. Families are killed. It's like, it's pretty. And then like, you can't even like, go back and like, they don't make fireproof houses. Like in Florida, they don't give you like, like, they don't make houses so like you can like, you're a little bit off ground, or like they don't like give you anything that you can like close your windows or shut them or seal them or whatever, to like to put like some kind of thing to help you like prevent like a, like in Florida, like a hurricane would damage like a window, so they make like these things that they can just put like slide some like metal like plate over your window, so you can just like, okay, we're good, or we should be good, better than like without it. So like, I mean, I don't live like by an area that really like gets a lot of wildfire like activity, so like, I'm sure there's some things. There's gotta be like fire insurance, because I know there's hurricane insurance. So I don't know, but it's always like weird. Like, I would never want to switch places with Florida because I don't want to deal with a hurricane. But I think I could, like, I think that they would rather take a hurricane than a wildfire, for sure. Because, I mean, you've seen the videos of like people like, trying to fight the fires, like the firefighters and all that, like the National Guard or whatever, trying to evacuate people. You see the videos of like just like them like with like one hose, right? And then the entire, brush on the other side of the road is just lit up in flames. It's like almost impossible to like fight them off. Like, it's an actual battle. Like, you're going to war with a fire. Like you always see these photos and these videos of people like trying to put out the fire, but it's like, yo, like you are so unmatched. Like, it's almost unfair, or pretty much is unfair. It's like, and with a hurricane, you just kind of wait till it's over, rebuild a bit, and then like, wait for the water to go down. But like wildfires, poof, man, you can't wait for those guys. You got to attack them. You got to take them head on and be like, nope, we have to deal with this now. And it's worse because the creek fire, I remember like they could not contain that bitch. And I was just like, damn, man, this is not good. This is not good. Like, I had a buddy that went to one of them, I think, that just because like, they needed people to like go have like paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, just to, help out the cause, because it was so bad. like I don't think that anybody from Florida would want to. I don't think that they would trade a wildfire for a hurricane for a wildfire. I don't think anybody would. It's also like, you kind of think about California's got like wildfires, we got really hot summers, and we have earthquakes. For like the majority of the time, like an earthquake is like not really like it's not like a super threat because you can't really predict it. Like you don't know when it's going to happen. Like maybe some people do, like, but like you can't really like, actually like, predict when the earthquake is going to hit or how big it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't know like if it's going to like last long, be like a short one, or like if there's going to be aftershocks. It's really scary because like 2 years ago, 2019, I think, there was one the day before the 4th of July, and then one on the 4th of July. So on the 3rd and the 4th. And it was crazy because I was watching Independence Day, with Will Smith and all that. And it's the line like where he, when the alien ship is coming down and his whole house is shaking, and he wakes up for a bit, he's like, is that an earthquake? And like that happened like literally like shortly after the earthquake actually hit, I think. Maybe it was before, but like it was so like, wow, this just happened, earthquake. Yeah, and that was like one of my like actually like a bigger earthquake that I felt though. Like I felt it, and like when you feel it, it's like you think that somebody is shaking you. Like there's no other way to put it. Like you think somebody is like actually shaking your bed, your couch, your entire house. Like who's outside doing this? That's what it feels like. It feels like somebody's literally shaking you. And you look at your chandelier, your lamps and all that, they're shaking too. It's like, oh shit. And then you think like, bro, I have no control of what's happening now. This could go south so fast and so like, so quickly. And I wouldn't even know what to do. Like I was thinking like, because I heard it like shake or I felt it shake, and I heard like some creaks in the house. I was thinking like, do I run outside and like try to get to the middle of the street so I don't get like squashed? Like, what do I do? Or what if all the houses just start to crumble around me? Like, what do I do? So I did like run out a bit, and I kind of looked and like, down the street and all. I was like, nobody's reacting really. Then I didn't feel anything, like no more shaking. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back inside. And everybody's in the house like, oh, do you feel that? Like everybody felt that. It was horrible. Like it was scary. And then after a while, like maybe like an hour later, maybe even less, like an aftershock hit. Or maybe another earthquake, I can't remember, but it was so scary. It's so weird because, again, the situation is uncontrollable and it's unpredictable. And then you're just like, I can't do nothing about this. Nothing. It's like, it's definitely something that you, when you go through it, you remember it forever. You never forget it. It's like, damn, dude, I went through that. And so I can imagine, like, if you live in Florida or the place where you get like a lot of hurricanes, this has got to be like routine for you guys. Like, no, another one's coming. Oh, there's gonna be another one like in next week. It's like, that's it. It's just a routine. Like, evacuate, go. That's it. It's crazy. I guess that's why they call it or they have a hurricane season. Like, oh, this is supposed to happen. Like, but again, it's like I see all those little islands like on the Florida Keys and all that, those tiny islands, and they're not even scared. Like, people who live there are just like, yeah, it happens. Dude, like, the entire sea is gonna, like, just wash over your entire house. Like, pretty much. Like, you're not even, like, terrified of it. And again, like, I'm sure people are terrified, but the videos that I've seen, like, of, like, YouTube people, like, saying, like, literally, like, vlogging during, like, a freaking, like, hurricane, like nothing's bad. Nothing's going wrong. Like, oh, it's just, yeah, it does this all every year during this time. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess like that is better because you potentially know what's going to happen, or you kind of think that, well, it's just going to be like last year, or it's going to be a little bit different, or it's going to be bigger. Or like, what happens when you get like the news like it's a gigantic hurricane, like massive one? Like, I know like a tropical storm isn't as bad, but it's still a bad thing. Like, you still don't want that to happen. It's still going to cause damage and potentially kill people. So you don't want that either. But like, I wonder like, when is the last time, like, besides, I think, also one of the major hurricanes that hit Florida that really fucked up Florida? I can't remember which one it was, but it was pretty recently, and like, still, like, everybody just lives there, like, willy-nilly, like, oh, wow, we get fucking hosed by the ocean, like, what, 5 times every year, 3 times every year, like, and that's fine with you? But I guess it's also pretty cool because you never have to worry about a drought, really. You just get rain year in, year out, like, an actual rain, like, not like California rain, where, like, it'll rain for, like, maybe, like, an hour out of a day, and everybody's like, oh, it's nice rain, it's nice rain. Sometimes we get, like, big storms, but like nothing like Florida, where like literally dumps water on you, like buckets and buckets of water for the entire day. And like also like where I live is like the civil engineering of how they design like the sewers and all that. These are not places that are meant for all that water. Let me tell you that, because one time it did rain for a long time, right? A lot of rain one time. This was years ago, and nobody like was prepared. Right, there was like a part of the street that just flooded, absolutely flooded, and nobody can get through it because it was so high. Or you could, but it would take you a while. If you had like a small car, like a sedan or like a coupe, no chance, because it was so high. But a truck, an SUV could do it. Like, but again, they had to go slow. But it was like, yo, we are not prepared for rain at all, at all. And it just reminds you, like, bro, like, if we did get a lot of rain, like more than this. And I've seen, like, potentially we could get a lot of rain, like, not too long ago. But, like, when you think about it, I'm like, okay, are the roads going to hold? Or are, like, people going to be able to drive in this? Because, like, you think about it, we don't get a lot of rain. So when Californians drive in the rain, they're pretty bad. They're really slow. They brake a lot. Their reaction times are fucking delayed. They just like they go dumb. It's odd because, like, I wouldn't say like I'm a professional rain driver, but I do, like, back when I was going to college or going to high school, or not even high school, but like, just going to college and going to work, you would have to drive the rain, like on the freeway, on a highway, congested roads, and you would have to get used to it. And I'm not saying like everybody from California can't drive in the rain. I'm sure that they can, but they just don't get that experience. Like, somebody from Florida, or like, the South, or even like, places like, where does it rain a lot? Seattle, Washington, Oregon, maybe. Like, that's where, like, we don't have like the best drivers, for like rain, moisture, because we don't get it. It's kind of sad because every year there's this threat of like being in a drought, and California's in a drought, another drought, another drought. And then you think, like, well, this is like kind of the norm now. Like, I can't remember the time where we weren't in a drought. It's been so long because, like, it's so dry here. Like, I remember, like, we had grass, but then, like, one year, like, our sprinklers broke and, like, it was super dry. And it just killed the grass. It was so dry, and then they said, like, because it was the drought too, they would restrict watering the grass, so you couldn't water on certain days. So like grasses would be like dead potentially. If you have your sprinklers going on at a certain time, it could be like get a ticket. It's like, wow, bro, this kind of sucks because, again, like, I know that we're in a drought, but like still, like. So we basically just shut off the sprinklers and just like, we're not going to water at all. If we water, it's going to be like by hand or by like a, we'll get a hose like attachment, like that's like a sprinkler thing, and just have that on for a few hours. That's about it. But like that never really like crosses your mind anymore, because it's like California people just are in this stigma, or in this whole feeling of we're in a drought, another drought. Like, it's just like our constant state of mind, and like we've been out of one for like a couple years now, but I think like we're back into another one. So eek. I mean, I don't waste water. I'm not a water waster. I drink water. I shower pretty, I mean, like, maybe I take a bit longer than I should, but like, we're not gonna have like water running, in the backyard or the front yard, just like, willy nilly. Like, nothing's, we're not in a problem, but try to cut back on water, energy, like, and all that, because like, they tell us to don't wash your clothes, at the, midday or the morning, because like that's when people are going to be up, and like people are going to be, putting on their ACs and all that. You got to reserve energy and all that, because when it does get hot, holy crap, Where I live, the AC is your best friend. It is your best friend because it gets so hot inside. Like when it's 110 outside, you don't even want to like be alive. It is so bad. And I live in a part of my city, my town, where like a lot of people like use their AC like all the time, 24/7 almost, and like potentially the power would go out. And it's like, I can't live like this. And like it kept happening. Like I'm like once every 2 weeks, like the power would go out again and again and again. It's like, bro, like step it up. Like you should expect this. This should be a thing that you're, prepared for. But like other, like beside, and then you're like, you drop the ball. Like, oh yeah, we got a big outage like on this area. And it's always my area. It's always my area. Like I have friends that live like in town, and I always check the map on PG&E, like, who's affected. And it's always me and only me. My friends, nothing. Not affected. AC's on, cool, not outside. And I'm here sweating my balls off, for PG&E. Like, get your shit together, PG&E. But it's like, oh my God, it's like, why? Why does that happen? Why does their grid or whatever sucks so bad? Like we can't keep the entire city or block cool because we're just that incompetent and we suck that bad, and it happens year after year. So it's like, why does this continue to happen? Let's get to the bottom of this problem and fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like but it never happens. It will never happen. You almost kind of think that, do you want to move? Do I want to move out of California? Yes and no. One, because I have family here, friends. You never want to leave them. I get it. I wouldn't want to leave them. But like, where would I move though? Every state's got its own problem. Every state has like issues, problems, weather, traffic. Every state has their own thing that you just like. You know what? You just want to stick with what you know and just what you've always been fighting and battling through, and just stick with that and not have to worry about anything else that you don't know about. Like people were like, a lot of like comedians and all that are moving out of moving out of California to move to Texas, Florida. You know it. People are moving out of New York, for other reasons and whatever. But I just feel like moving out of the state that you always lived in. The rules, the taxes, the everything that's the laws and all that, and just like moving out of the state to another state would be so, in my opinion, a bit of a challenge and a bit of a like, oh, now I gotta actually like learn the customs and learn the weather, learn the traffic and learn everything. But I almost like I'm at this point where I don't want to do that anymore. Like learning for me, like is almost out the window. It's almost out the window. Like I would like research things or want to know about things like through like a documentary, movie, podcast, a show. Anything like that, right? But actually doing it and learning it that way, like, oh, you moved to Texas. Oh, it's fucking humid as shit. The traffic sucks and it's a desert. Oh, we got to worry about tornadoes now. And oh, if you go too down south, maybe a hurricane. In the Gulf of Mexico, you're in danger of a hurricane now. Houston, well, it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live through that. I don't want to experience that through living it. I'd rather watch it on the news or watch it on a documentary. I don't want to do that. Not just the hurricanes and the tornadoes, but like just like the culture. I don't have to go through that. Who does really? Moving out of the state or out of country is such a big commitment. You got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to adjust to their customs, adjust to their livelihood, adjust to their work schedule, just the people. Because you think about this, people in California who live here, from where I live, probably the nicest people that are around me. Really nice people. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be, involved in too many things. They go to work. They come back home. They go to bed and do it all over again. They have this rhythm and this schedule that they always do. And to me, I'm used to it. These people around me, I'm used to it. It's almost to the part where I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, because I know it so well, I know my ins and outs of what I can and can't do. So that makes my life easier. So you want to move to, let's say you move to New York, right? From California to New York. You gotta be willing to not drive, right? Like, especially if you, excuse me, if you move to New York City, whether it be like Brooklyn, Manhattan, Long Island, Queens, whatever, you got to be willing to give up your car. Because the traffic there, to drive is just, it defeats the purpose. You're just wasting your money. Because you're just literally like in traffic, deadlocked in traffic, all these routes and all these intersections and all these, why not just pay, or go on a train or the subway, pay a little bit of money to have somebody take you to your destination. Don't waste your time driving your car, being in traffic, because I would assume that New York City has got to have traffic, bumper to bumper traffic almost every day for all day, 24/7, right? You just got to be able to, in California, like in LA, big different cities, big differences. One hand, LA, you drive a lot, freeways, pretty big roads or bigger roads, not like, cramped like New York at least. Not as much traffic walking, not as many cabs or like Ubers, I guess, maybe Uber, but not like taxis or all that. No subway, no train, no public transportation, nothing like that really is like, in LA, everybody drives their own car, everybody Ubers, mainly drive their own car, but like you get the point. But in New York, nobody fucking drives. They all take the train, the subway, public transportation is their lifeline. That's how they move around. That's how they get around. That's how they go to work, go to school, go out to eat, go have fun. That's what they do. So you got to be willing to like adjust to that, be like, shoulder to shoulder with people, so close to each other, like just be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? Like that. People in LA don't do that. People in LA and California, they stick to themselves. In New York, you cannot do that because you're like literally living on top of each other. Everywhere there's apartment buildings, whether it be a nice apartment, a shitty apartment, whatever. Everybody's living on top of each other. Everybody is. Everybody's so condensed. You got an apartment right there, restaurant right there, or a bar right there, a club right there, whatever. Broadway's right there. All these music halls are there. These, it's a different beast. It's a different way of living. And I'm at this point where do I want to take the time to learn all that? Do I really want to waste or spend the time to learn about the customs and learn about the people, the culture, and all that? Do I really want to? Kind of got a good right here. I know I pay taxes and all that, but, do I really want to move with my family? Do I really want to move out there? Do I really want to learn all this? It's a tough choice. For me, personally, I think that I would be able to. I think I would. It would take me a while. And when I finally get there, I learned it and I'm, part of it and I do it every day. Yeah, I'm sure I could do it, but it's always the first step. Do I want to take that first step and try to learn something new and try to be a different person and try to be a New Yorker? It's like moving again. It's a big decision. It's a big commitment. It's, you never really know how it's going to go. It could be bad, good, okay. It could be great too. It could be really good, really great. You love it there. I've always kind of wondered, because, you've seen videos of New York and Connecticut, Philadelphia, Boston. I've always kind of wanted to live in those little those cities because again, everybody's so close with each other, whether it be for better or for worse, but everybody's so, it's the city is alive. People talk to each other, they converse, people are just down the street because New York, Connecticut and all them, they're think of how big California is. Then you look at New York and Connecticut and Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, they're all tiny. compared to us. They're tiny. They're so small. So you kind of like wonder like, well, I mean, would it you could travel from like from New York to Philadelphia in like 3 hours, and it would be another state. You'd be in another state. Like here, you can go from like L.A. to Fresno. That would be like 3 hours. Same state though. Same everything. And I'm not saying that like that guy. Pennsylvania, New York, and Boston, all that are like completely like so different. They probably are, but like they're not like, staying in California, because the state is so big and it's so like, massive, and there's so many cities and they're all spread out kind of like, you just like kind of wonder like, I wonder how it would be like if I moved somewhere that the cities are more, close to each other, closer at least, and not as far away and not as, a big of a drive. I always wonder that, like, how would that be like? What if LA wasn't as far away from San Francisco as it is? Like, what if LA was like closer to San Francisco? Or San Francisco was closer to LA? That would be interesting because, for sports, it'd be so huge. It'd be like big and massive because for baseball, the Dodgers and the Giants would have been like right there. There'd be fights, outbreaks of like, brawls and all that. That'd be insane. I mean, we're lucky that we're like, those cities are like, what, 6 hours apart? Like that. Imagine that being like a border neighboring city. Like that would be crazy. But it's all about like picking and choosing. What do you want to do? Do you really want to learn all this? Do you want to be a part of the New York vibe or the East Coast vibe? I always kind of thought that I would be able to fit in with the East Coasters because I am kind of a, I always feel like California is a bit soft in some ways. Even though I like my comfy life and I like living like where I live, the people are just like, they're not assholes really. It's almost like the East Coast, aside from like maybe like Florida, maybe the Northeast, really, they breed assholes. They breed them. Like everybody there is so angry. It's not a bad thing either. It's character. It's fun. It's distinctive. Everybody in California is so soft compared to them. Everybody, like, and it's got to be the fact that everybody's just so close to each other, right? Like, you're fighting for taxis, you're fighting for an Uber, you're fighting for, a spot on the train, the subway. Everybody's fighting for something, right, to get by. Everybody's trying to get, like, I got to get here, or sorry, buddy, I'm in line and I got the ticket, or whatever. Like, everybody's, like, so on the move, Everybody's on the move and trying to get from one place to another. And, it's got to just, make you mad. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, it's just got to make you mad. Like, everybody's trying to do one thing at the same time, and you're just trying to do that one thing and trying to beat the other person from doing it, or to doing it, I guess. It's just got to make you mad, and I feel for them, man. I mean, like, it's cold in the winter. Like, New York this past winter, like, had, like, so much snow, and so much, snow days, I guess you can call it that. I mean, we were on Zoom. The kids were on Zoom, but, like, I, like, just seeing, like, people, like, in New York just saying, like, we still getting snow in fucking March? Or like, it's like, oh, my God. Like, snow is also a different thing because whenever I go to the snow, like, in the mountains or, like, in the mountains, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. And I haven't even been that often. But when I do go, I'm like, can our car make it? Are we going to get stranded? Like, I'm just, like, I don't want to chance this, bro. Like, do we have a 4-wheel drive? Do we have chains? No, we're not going. We can't go. And shoveling snow, that's got to be like one of the worst things ever. Ever. Because, like, you have to shovel your driveway just to go to work. I mean, snow is not light. It's not like powder all the time. You're in the middle of a blizzard. At night, you got to go to work the next day unless it's a national snow day, like nobody come to work because it's impossible. But if it's not that and you got to go to work, like you would have to wake up like you go to work like at 8 o'clock. You got to wake up like at 5 to get ready to shovel. And then like you're going to be like, worked out, sweaty and all that. And it's going to be cold still, but like, you're working. Snow is no game. when snow becomes like, when it becomes hard and stiff, it's not fun. It is not fun. Imagine like, trying to building a snowman when I went to the snow was pretty tough. Like, you got to get a lot of snow for that. It's like, and then like you guys got to move it and all. Like, oh man, I would not do that. No way, no how. Not for me. Went to the dentist today. Everything's good. Teeth are cool. Teeth are fine. Nice ladies there. Hygienist was cool. Actually talked to you, so that was nice. Real nice person. Although, please, to the office that I go to get my teeth cleaned, please give this woman a sandwich. Please. I mean, you could tell she was hungry. And this isn't a weird thing. It's just there was no way for me to avoid this. You know how they lay you back, they clean your teeth and all that, but they kind of like, they kind of scoop by you, to get to your teeth and all that. I swear her stomach was just growling the entire time. And I don't know if like that disgusts you or not, but like when I hear it, like my stomach like gurgling, and you can like kind of feel it. Like you can feel like the it getting tighter, it like moving shit, and maybe she did eat, maybe she was digesting, I'm not sure, but it sounded like she was hungry. Like it was like that. Right? It's just like I'm gonna be sick because it's right by my ear. I can hear food move or her stomach clench and tighten. That is, it was just too much. I couldn't believe it. And this has happened before. This happens every time I go. These hygienists are starving. That's what it sounds like. I mean, when you eat, your stomach does not do that. It digests pretty quietly. But when your stomach is on empty, you got no food in there, it's going to make noise. And I could tell, like, Jesus, please get this poor lady a sandwich. Please just get her a sandwich. I can't deal with this. I can't, not again. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a baby with this, but trust me. It is so weird to be that close to somebody's stomach just growling. It is so weird. I don't care who you are. You might be like, oh, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's the human body, it's working, it's alive. Don't say that, Alex, she's a person, I get that. Nice lady, that's what I said, nice lady. Actually talk to me. I was like, hey, I floss a lot. She's like, I can tell. Like, and I felt great because I'm getting complimented on my flossing. That feels good. That's always good. Any compliment is a good one. Feels good. It feels nice. But there's no denying that you could actually say, like, oh, this is a beautiful sound. I love this sound. This is the sound that my stomach makes when I'm fucking starving. I love it. No. Stop trying to make something that's, that shouldn't be, like, really, like, shouldn't be shown, or nobody should ever hear another person's stomach growling that close to another person. Like, I'm literally, like, right there. I'm like, oh, God, she hasn't eaten. This is weird. This is annoying. This is kind of gross. Again, nice lady. Very, very nice lady. Very polite. I liked her a lot. Very nice. Good review. Thumbs up. But please, whoever runs this dentist, just give them a sandwich before they see me. This happens every time. Give them a sandwich. A cracker, something. Please. This is an epidemic. This has been happening for way too long. Too long. It is concerning because it's like, I went there at 1 o'clock and lunch is at 12. Do they not eat? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's got to stop. It has to stop. It keeps happening and happening and happening, though. I always think that maybe this time, maybe they'll have a sandwich. Maybe they'll have a cracker. Maybe a pizza. Maybe they're full. Maybe they're not hungry at all. And this wasn't the worst time. This wasn't the worst time. This was like a little bit like a on the quieter side, I guess you could say. But like I've had times where like, okay, she has to hear this. Like this is so loud that she has to be like, like making a face like, shut the fuck up, stomach, shut up, or like almost like in tears. Because if that, it's almost like farting. When somebody hears your stomach like that, you're like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Are you okay? But it's like, you can't control that. A fart you can kind of control to a point. Until when it comes out, then it's like, oh, I can't do it. That's all on me, or it's not my fault. I could not take it anymore. This is like, you can't tell your stomach not to growl. It just happens. You're hungry. And again, this wasn't the worst time. And again, this lady was very nice. Did a great job. I applaud her for that. But please, let them have a sandwich before. Get this woman a sandwich, please. This is ridiculous. It's happened every time. It kind of brings into question, like, do they have lunch? Do the hygienists even get to have lunch? Because the dentist is the star of the show at that place. Like the dentist, his name is on the front of the building. So and so's dental, whatever, dental care. So Dr. So and so's dental care. Like he's the star of the show. Like he's gonna have lunch, and he's gonna have a big lunch every time. But it's like, is it just him eating lunch? Is it just him eating food? I don't know, man. Do the hygienists have to give him their food? Is that the deal when you become a big time dentist? Like you get your own building, with your name on it. Like, oh, you work for me, I get your lunch. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just getting to a tipping point of where it just keeps happening and happening and happening. And again, nice lady. Great job. 2 thumbs up. Fantastic. Just get her a sandwich, please. Now on to sports. Yes, everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite. We are back. The week of the draft happened. Round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happened. Maybe more. I'm not sure how many rounds there are. But now we're done. The 2021 NFL draft is complete. College kids got their teams, met their coaches, met the what is it called? Met their bosses, met their owners, basically. The owner who owns the team pretty much owns them. But we got a pretty, the number 1 pick was going to be Trevor Lawrence to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We all knew that. I mean, me personally, I don't think that he's the best quarterback in like the past decade. I think, well, you can't really count the decade because it's 2021. But I think the best quarterback that I think I've seen drafted, who kind of panned out in the NFL to the better, I think that most people would agree is Andrew Luck. I mean, that guy, from the moment that he was drafted, you knew he was going to be good, and not just a decent quarterback, but he was going to be good and talented, and he could win you games. And that's what happened. He did win games. Unfortunately, he retired early. He was concerned about his rotator cuff, his health overall. I get it. I understand. Do you, bro? If you feel like you're putting your body on the line too much, you feel like you're, not getting healthier, you're not getting the right, it's too much. I get it. Nobody's asking you to give your life for this sport or this team or this, franchise or whatever. Nobody's asking you to do it. You did it because you loved it. And I hope that everybody in this draft really did it because they love football. It's one thing to do it for money, to do it for your family. I get that. I understand that. But that only gets you so far, because when you sign that contract and when you sign that, especially if you go in the first round, you're going to get paid a lot of money. A lot of money. So then the love kicks in. Then you're like, okay, I want to get better. I want to improve my game. I want to be on make the team better. I want everybody to think that I'm, contributing because I love the game so much, because it should come easy to you, for you, if you love football. And I just hope that all these, first round draft picks, all the draft picks really, and everybody who plays football, the National Football League, plays it because they love the game. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see you out on the field, put it all out there for your team, for your coach, and your family. Like, use that as motivation. Like, they want you to play good too. They want you to be better than everybody else on the team. So like, there's a lot like at stake, and just watching the draft is always like one of the coolest things now, because you get to see like how happy that these guys are. These young adults that got drafted by, whether they went from, number one or the final pick. You can always see like they're so happy they get the opportunity to play the game that they love, because they are the best college players in the world right now. They are because like, there's so many other people that don't get drafted, don't get picked up. So many that try, and only like 200 and something get picked. So it's like, take that with some pride, a chip on your shoulder, whatever, and just run with it. Do it. Have fun too, like, because at the end of the day, you are playing a children's game and making millions of dollars, right? So don't waste the opportunity. Don't get in over your head. Always have in sight of like what the goal is, how you want to be better. Just don't lose sight of what you want. Nobody's going to listen to this who got drafted. I get it. But it's just like a thing that I always like seeing, is like, these guys have a chance to make their life incredible. Not for themselves, not just for themselves, but their families, friends. They could be these potential kids could be like, go down as one of the best players in the NFL. We don't know that yet until the story is told. So it's always exciting. It's always fun to watch, and it's always, I enjoy that. So now with the sappy part out of the way, let's talk about who went where. I'm going to talk about mainly the first round and some of the Rams picks. But let's see. Trevor Lawrence went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We all saw that coming, right? Everybody did. Again, I wouldn't say he's like the best quarterback that I've seen coming out of the draft, but he is, without a doubt, like the best one of this class. Everybody, people were saying like, "Oh, are you sure about that? What about Mac Jones or Zach Wilson, Trey Lance? They could be potentially better, but like, yeah, but like this guy played in the bigger games more, and you can kind of say that he had a really good team, so that made him well. But football is a team sport, so that's like not really like a good argument, because like you have to have a good team for you to succeed. You can be a great quarterback, but if your receivers are shit, your tight ends are shit, your running back is shit, you're not gonna win shit. I mean, who are you gonna throw the ball to if nobody can get open? You know what I'm saying? Like, just easy with those comments, easy with that, because that just you're destroying your argument, because you're forgetting that this is a team sport, right? This isn't MMA or boxing or wrestling or whatever, tennis. This isn't those sports. You got to be careful what you say about that. That's a stupid, silly take. Number 2, Zach Wilson to the New York Jets. Again, I don't know this guy. He looks like a fucking like a teen star, like a TikTok kid. I mean, he's so like clean shaven. Like, I don't even know if he grows a beard. Like, it's so like you can't even see, like, there's like no shadow on this guy. Same with like kind of Trevor Lawrence, but like, I've seen him with some facial hair. This guy, nothing. And he looks like a clean-cut kid. Really looks really young. But again, like, none of these guys are kids, by the way. Let's put that out there for everybody to hear. These aren't kids. These are young adults. Like, and I hate when everybody says like, "Bro, they're just kids. Look at the kids playing. They're just kids." They're not kids. Right? They're young adults that are in college. They're like 21, 22 to like 25-year-olds. They're not kids. You can't just call them kids. They're not kids. And like, it's like, that's an excuse for you to say like, "Oh, well, they shouldn't, they should play better. Or this game is trash. Why are they not playing it? Like good. They're just kids." They're not just kids. Stop saying that. Maybe some of them are like 18, 19, 20. Those are still not kids, but they are, just call them what they are. They're amateurs. They're amateurs. They're not professional. Don't call them kids. Do you think that they want to be called kids? I would doubt that. I would doubt that Zach Wilson, the most kid-like quarterback in the draft, would be like, "Hey kid, how you doing?" Like, he wouldn't want that. Man, you would never say that to their face, but like still, like when you say like, "Oh, they're just kids," that just belittles them. Don't do that. Like, would you like that? Would you like to be called kid? I don't think so. I have no idea. But like, I just kind of have a problem with that. Calling them kids, like they're not kids. And like, it was worse with the NCAA tournament because I'm a big fan of Big Cat from Barstool Sports. Big fan, big funny guy, awesome guy. But he would always tweet like when some team would lose. He would always tweet, "They're just kids." Well, but they also got beat by just kids, right? Like those are also kids, right? You got to point that out there too, right? I know you're trying to be a meme about it and be funny, maybe troll, but I get it. But like, saying they're just kids losing in the tournament, like, well, who'd they lose to? Just kids? I don't know. The whole just kids thing just annoys me. The 49ers drafted Trey Lance, which, to me, I was never sold on like people complaining that the 49ers are done with Jimmy Garoppolo. Never believed that one bit. Me and my buddy Zach were talking about this, like, that was just spun by the media so badly. And like, why? Because if you look at what happened, last year was a bad year for the 49ers. San Francisco had so many injuries, just didn't even think that they were going to happen. It was like put out in the media, like they had so many injuries that they had to just get new. They, like, at one point, I think maybe not them, but the Broncos had, like, last year again was just no preseason, COVID year. You can't work the kinks out. You can't get all the, the tissue damage, injuries out of the way. You miss that. You kind of like go into the actual regular season. You can't expect that everybody to be healthy. It's impossible. You don't get the reps. You don't get the conditioning for game speed, and it's just like, that's kind of unfair. But the 49ers did get bit in the butt with the injuries, and it's like, how can you blame Jimmy Garoppolo on that? Like, honestly, think about this. You are, like, especially with like ESPN and Stephen A. Smith, oh my God. I mean, he's like, Jimmy G's got to go. Jimmy G is not the guy. How can you say that? He was injured the entire year, basically. He played like maybe 6 or 5 games. He had a bad injury. Like, how can you say like the 49ers are done with him? Like, he was injured the entire time. That makes no sense. That is, again, the people who say this, the people who are ragging on the 49ers about this, like, how do you have jobs? How do you have jobs? You're so wrong on these takes. You just say it because it stirs up the pot. It stirs the media. And whenever like a coach sees it or a player sees it, they don't like it. They know, like, this is such bullshit. Like, why are you reporting such like a false story? Like, of why? Who are you to say this? Like, you don't know anything about this. And I kind of just want to bring that into a little bit of light. Like, yeah, an actual fan or someone who watches the games on, like, the ESPN crew, maybe, they don't watch the games. You kidding? Maybe they see highlights, but they don't watch. I don't believe that they watch games, bro. I don't believe it. They say they do. I don't know. They're also, like, you get to the point where it's like ESPN, for the majority, is like in the realm again of entertainment. They want to say things to get clicks and headlines, whether it be with the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever story you want to pull up. They always kind of spin it in another way. That's why I usually get my news from like Bleacher Report with an article or something like that. Not as flashy, not like a somebody talking, a talking head is what I call them, not like that. Because when you look at that, when you boil it down, like, man, do these guys actually believe this crap? Do you actually think that Jimmy Garoppolo is like gone? Did you see last season? He was fucking injured for more than half the season. That's a stupid claim. So for them to get Trey Lance, for me, was a bit of a shock because I don't think that I don't think that anybody actually thinks that he's going to start this year. He played one game last year. So I'm thinking like, well, there's not a lot of tape on this guy. He doesn't really like kind of missed an entire college season, and I know he was good at his pro day, but like still, like, I mean, how much can you take a pro day to, be, what he's gonna be like? He's got like really like no, nobody pressuring him. He just throws to a receiver and that's it, basically. I'm like, game footage of like he's actually like dissecting a defense and like making a decision to pass or tuck or run the ball, whatever. I don't know. It's funny. Let's go down to the notable picks besides a quarterback. I think was Jalen Waddle went to the Dolphins. The first receiver taken. No, second actually. Jamar Chase was the first going to the Bengals. To be honest, I've heard many takes on Jamar Chase, like he's good, but they wouldn't want him in the long run. I've heard things like, would it be my first choice? It was really weird of how people were saying, like, comparing the receivers. Because on one hand, they love Devontae Smith, but like, oh, he's like 167 pounds, like, I don't want him. Or 176 pounds, like, I don't want him either. It's like, well, his job is to catch the ball and run. He's not a linebacker. He's not a running back. He catches the ball and runs. He can beat a defender, but like he's not gonna like have to like give him an RKO. Like what do you want him to do? You know what I'm saying? And just like watching his games last season and the one before that, he's a reliable receiver. But the thing is, like, a lot of Alabama receivers that were reliable. I'm just talking about one. Amari Cooper was reliable. Skip Bayless back in the day said he's Jerry Rice-esque. He's going to be the next Jerry Rice, something like that. Like that kind of didn't happen. So, we'll see. Again, all these guys who make these takes still have jobs, and I can't get hired. But like, we'll see how it happens. I think that Devontae was personally my favorite receiver last year. He went to the Eagles, so that's going to be a big boost. I was scared for the Eagles because if they, they're a mess right now, kind of. Their quarterback is Jalen Hurts, who I think has potential to be good. But I feel like in college, him bouncing around other teams, I feel like for me, like it just kind of was a bit of a hurdle because it's like you kind of jump from system to system and kind of learn it on the way, and you kind of like. I feel like when you do that, you kind of like lose the ability to like refine your tools. You're always like gotta catch up on learning the new system, the new offense, whatever. He went from Alabama to Oklahoma. I know that's like not that big of a jump, but it feels like you got to keep learning the new system, new coaching staff, new players, and all that. So you kind of like lose the ability to learn, fine craft your fundamentals and the mechanics. So I mean, I think that Philadelphia has a potential to be good. But we'll see. I don't know, because last year, like Hurts was a lot better than Wentz. I will say that, but Wentz was fucking lost. I felt like Wentz was he was gone. I mean, I know I saw like interviews of him after, but like when I saw him play, like he was just out of it. Like he wanted to be gone. And like, I mean, power to you. If you want to leave. Another Justin Fields went to the Bears. Now, this might be the Bears' best quarterback that they've drafted in a while. I mean, Mitch Trubisky was, I think, the number one pick, but he's gone. He's with the Bills. But I think that Justin Fields might be like overall like the more talented quarterback that they've ever drafted. I feel like, I just get this feeling like he's gonna light it up. He's gonna be good. I don't think that he's gonna be. He could potentially be a bust, but it's like what these teams have to do is they gotta remember that these are younger quarterbacks that come from college that don't have the coaching that the NFL does. Obviously, but they have potential. They're athletic. They're younger. Fields can do things that Dalton probably can't do. You also got to play to their strengths. Just because one quarterback succeeds in this system, doesn't mean that this other one will. So they got to be smart with that, because I feel like that can potentially that's potentially like one of the main things that kill quarterbacks is just in the wrong system, in the wrong headspace, in the wrong making them uncomfortable, just in the wrong in everything. You got to be careful with that, because you do that, you could damage the quarterback. You can damage his potential. His confidence will dip, and then you'll be like, why did we even pick him in the first round? Well, it's because you're not, you got to remember who you're drafting. I mean, you can't just do the same thing over and over again, because you do that, then other teams will figure you out. I mean, look at the fucking the Baltimore Ravens this year. Pretty much everybody figured them out, right? They knew Lamar was going to run. They knew he had no receivers. They knew that. They didn't change anything. I don't blame Lamar Jackson because he was, because he was throwing picks and all that, and he was running a bunch. No, I don't blame that at all. I blame that on the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator, for doing the same shit over and over again. They didn't, they played it with strengths too much of running the ball when you got to mix it up more. Right? You just can't have the quarterback run the ball all the time. He's the quarterback. You got to make him throw the ball. And if he's not that accurate, then you got to fucking work with him on that. I know that's not his strength, is running, but you gotta kind of help him mold and to be the quarterback. If he wants to be the quarterback and throw the ball, which I'm sure he does, let him throw the ball. Design plays that are easy for him to make, or that he can make. Don't just fucking settle for he's a running quarterback, will make him run. That's why he got figured out big time in the last season, because everybody was like, he's gonna run. If he throws, we'll pick him off. They missed an entire element of his game that could have been used that season. You just got to be careful with that. Let's see. Oh, another big pick, I think, that was Najee Harris going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've always liked this guy. Yeah, I always thought he was really good. Solid back, Alabama guy. Again, so many freaking draft picks went from Alabama, dude. Nick Saban never has to work again. Ever. He can retire now and just be set for life. For life, he's done. His success at Alabama, winning championships and producing NFL players. Now, granted, none of the players have really, I would say, aren't really how can I put this? They don't pan out as much as you would think. Well, at least the quarterbacks. You think about it, the last good quarterback I think that Bama produced was A.J. McCarron, and I haven't even seen him this year. He might be on a practice squad, maybe a second, maybe a backup, maybe a third quarterback, but I haven't seen that guy in a long time. And he was good in college too. He was one of the better quarterbacks from Alabama. So it's I wonder what happens with Alabama quarterbacks who just go to the NFL. Is it that they can't adjust without Nick Saban? I have no idea. Maybe it's because they have, a great defense. They don't have to play behind in points all the time. Or I have no idea. But I noticed that this guy Najee Harris fits Pittsburgh so well. He fits them so well, and they actually got a good running back too. He's really good. Because I'm not sure if they're still using Connor. I think in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure, but he's gonna bring a whole nother level to that, that offense. Explosiveness, speed, the will to just run and dissect a defense and just pick his hole and go. He's one of those really crafty backs, and just it's awesome. It's awesome to see. I did miss a pick that I wanted to go back to. Can't believe I did. It was Mac Jones to the New England Patriots. The number 15th overall pick, Mac Jones, New England, by the way. Now, everybody was saying, well, I've been hearing that Mac Jones is not the best quarterback out of this lot, that he wasn't the best. But then they're saying, I could see him going number 2. I can see him going number 1. It's who are these people? Who actually thinks this? I'll tell you what, nobody thinks this. They're just saying it for the headline. But it's how can you say that? And I've been seeing videos of people it's pro day, not impressed. And they still make this claim like, oh, he's a good quarterback. He's good. He's like, but it's like from what I've seen, like, yeah, he was at Alabama, but that is Alabama. Like, you have to be really, really bad to fuck up at Alabama. Like, you've got to be like one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. To be, to make Alabama suck. To make them just, not be good. So, I'm not saying that being a quarterback is hard for Alabama. It is hard. But also, like, you're at Alabama. You're going to get the first pick of the litter when it comes to the recruits. Everybody wants to play with you. The best players go there. It's not a secret. They all go there. They always win it because they have Nick Saban and he produces NFL draftees. I'm not going to say long-term players, but he produces a lot of, good picks. Flashy players, good players. He's a good coach though, but that's the thing. And I'm only saying that because a lot of NFL players that go to the NFL, or Alabama players that go to the NFL, don't normally pan out as big as they should. Like I said, A.J. McCarron, Mari Cooper. I think Trent Richardson was on Alabama, and he was like one of the worst running backs of all time. There's another one I can't remember, but like they don't like go the distance all the time. Usually they don't. Some do, some don't. But he went number 5. And people were comparing the pictures of Tom Brady not being in shape and Mac Jones not being in shape. Like, are you actually kidding? That's your comparison? That's what you're saying? That means the dynasty's back? I've seen those tweets, those takes. I mean, you can shoot for the stars all you want. Only time will tell. I don't think that's enough, to say, oh, he's going to be great. Look at he looks just like Tom Brady, out of shape at his draft day. Whatever, like that again, that's just relying on a coincidence. But I get it, New England last year, it wasn't good. Cam Newton was just not in his area, not in his space. And in my opinion, he hasn't been in his space since, the year that he went to the Super Bowl. He's been out of it since, in my opinion. Not because because everybody's better than him. No, I think that's just because mentally, I think Cam Newton is just in front of himself. I mean, like, you can look at the years after the Super Bowl appearance. His numbers have gone down. His teams have performed worse. He's just not there. Like, that year in 2015, I think, they played Denver in the Super Bowl. Before that, man, he was electric. He arrived. Like, there's Cam Newton, like what we've been wanting from Auburn, in college, all that. He arrived. There he is. He's back. Cam Newton is here. After that, declined. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with the Patriots and Mac Jones, but I'm not going to say that he's going to be great. He might not even start, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. What if he is like a new Tom Brady? What if he's a new age of Brady? What if he becomes good? What if he's actually, what if he needed like an actual, like, I know he just came from Saban, but now he's got Belichick. So, how's that going to translate? What's going to happen? Or, anything can happen. I'm not saying that he's going to be, bad or good. I'm just saying that be cautious of what you tweet and how you compare them. Because you can make this comparison all you want. But what if in a year or two he's out of the league? That could happen. Maybe not a year or two, but maybe like after 4 years. What if he's out of the league? And then everybody's gonna go back like, oh, these tweets did not age well. Or this was a dumb take, or this was stupid, or this was premature. Like, just pump the brakes a bit. I get that you're excited. I get it. But just, you gotta have a little bit of a sense of reality when it comes to this stuff. Because it could go south real quick. Lastly, before we go, a little bit more sports. I did not think that this would happen. This is blowing my mind, man. This is insane. I am actually seeing somebody go to war with their team, with their franchise. Aaron Rodgers is going off. on the Green Bay Packers. He is making it clear. Get me the hell out of here. Get me out. He does not want to be there. I don't know what did it, to be honest with you. Could have been it was before the draft. News broke out that he wants out. And like really, really wants out. Like he does not want to be there. That he's fed up. He doesn't like playing for them. I don't even know how this happened really. Like it's just, I haven't looked into it all that much. Like I know like he's saying like ton draftees like don't go there, or players to not go there. So he's like sabotaging like their whole quest to be a good team, basically. I don't know how this happened really. But he is going to war. This man is at war. And from what I've been hearing, this is beyond repairable. Like this is going to be like destructive. Like I never really would have thought that, because he always seemed like a kind of a laid back guy, nicer guy. You hear things about him and his family being like a dick to his family. I'm not going to get into that because it's none of my business. But if you ask somebody about if you Google Aaron Rodgers' family, usually it's not good things. So, but whatever. It's almost like he doesn't even care anymore. Like there's like this whole thing that he's like, he wants out, needs to be out. If he's not going to get out, he's going to host Jeopardy. It's like, whoa, I mean, that kind of took a left turn out of nowhere. It really surprised me, because when they lost to Tampa Bay, he was mad, and then the next day he was like not as mad. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's going to happen. So I really want to know what happened. Like, and it was just out of the blue. And it's not like he can leave like that easy. His contract is so fucked up. Like, he's like getting, like, he's supposed to be on there for 2 more years, getting a ton of money. Like, dude, you can't just leave. Like, we're going to pay you money. Like, who? Like, it seems like he was like influenced by something or somebody. I don't know what happened, but like, it just seems so out of the blue. Like, and for that to come out on draft day, like the day of the draft, like this has got to be like, who plotted this? This is too real. This is too much of a stage thing. This is too theatrical. I don't know what it is about this, but I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I think that he'll leave, actually. And I don't think anybody's going to pick him up because they can't pay for him. I mean, like, there was things about the 49ers and like, but like the fact that, again, that he's owed so much money is like, this guy's in a big hole. He's in a huge hole. Like, bro, you don't have the upper hand here at all. Like, what's your problem? Just retire then. Like, and every day goes by. Every day, ends, the other begins. You see more headlines, more articles saying like, this could be, destructive. This could be the end of Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. Like, it's either he plays for another team or he retires. So it's like, oof, man, this is crazy. This is weird. It's really weird. And like, we're in this, day and age where athletes, have a lot of power. All the power to them. I mean, they do the work. They play the games. They bring in the ticket sales. Nobody's buying a jersey of the owner of the Packers, right? They're buying a jersey of Aaron Rodgers. They're not buying, you know what I mean? Like, they do all the work. I get it, and I understand that. But you still gotta have the mentality of, this is my job, and I am an employee of the Green Bay Packers. They gave me a shot. I've been with them forever. I've been getting paid handsomely for like 16 years, maybe even more. Like, I've been getting paid a ton of money, more than anybody else could even dream of making in their lifetime. So you got to take a little bit into consideration of like where you are, where you stand on this situation, on this this whole thing of you being the quarterback and you being the star. How much you influence other people, how much you influence kids. You need to be careful with that. It's not just him either. I mean, like, Of course, you know, like other people have done this, like James Harden, you know. Harden did it. There's always these holdouts of, you know, players. You know, it's always a bad light on sports is when the money, you can see it taking over. You see it take over, you want to try to stop it and try to prevent it, but you can't. It's already gone. I mean, like, there's only so much that you could like try to not do with that money. You know, try to not get greedy. It's tough, man. It really is tough, but that's the whole like point of like that's just like you want more of like the thing that you like. You want more and more and more. And then like it's like, well, if I'm taking all this money, am I sacrificing the team's ability to you know, trade for another player that might be better for us? We just got to think of that, because whether you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or hell, I mean like Russell Wilson, whether how much you think is, you know, you deserve, you need to remember that this is a team sport. You're just one piece of it. Granted, you are like the most important piece. You are. I'm not saying that you're not. But you're just one piece still. You're just one. You need more than just one or a couple. You need 11. Now that might not seem, you know, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, but you need subs. You need reserves. Got to pay these people, coaches, coordinators. For all of it to work, you need all this. Now, I'm not saying that you probably know what you're worth, and I'm sure you do. I'm sure you got like this, you know, I don't play there. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in the meetings. I'm not there. I don't know it. I don't know. But I do know that this is a team sport, and if you take all the money, you expect that you're not going to be able to have a trade, a draft pick. You know, it's going to be tougher on you. So you got to find a way to share the love. Don't be so greedy. You know, sacrifice yourself. Look at Ben Roethlisberger this year. He's taking a pay cut just to stay with the Steelers. Taking a pay cut. This is Big Ben. You know, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Taking a pay cut. You know, and I don't blame him. Who's gonna? He knows the Steelers' offense so well. He's perfect for it, and I feel like it's gonna take them a while to get a quarterback that actually can do what he does, because you know, they've had bad luck finding a replacement for Big Ben. I mean, they tried with Landry Jones, but he's wasn't good at all. He did not make the cut, in my opinion. But you know, we just gotta, you know, not be so focused on you. Remember that this is a team sport, and you are just one player on that team. Lastly, like I said that before, I wanted to talk about LeBron James a bit. No, this is nothing political, nothing in the real world. This is about him as a player, as a competitor, as a basketball, pretty much the face of basketball at this point. Whether you like it or not, he is. I was a big LeBron fan back in the day. When he moved to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, that was such a cool team. That was a cool team to root for. They were fun. They were young, energetic. They were fun to root for. And at the time, LeBron was, I would say, maybe older than he would have wanted to be when he moved there. I believe he I believe he got there in 2011, I think. Maybe 10, but he got into the league at around 2003. So he wasn't like the youngest guy, you know. He went there after high school, so he would have been like around 25, right? Entering the prime time LeBron. He was really good back then. I thought that, you know, he was tough. He was a bully on the court. He made his shot. You know, there was a lot of hype of him being, competing with Kobe Bryant. And potentially, people were saying he could be the next Michael Jordan. Now, I don't think so, and I did not think so back then. And I still don't to this day. I don't. But then again, he's a maturity, gets older, goes back to the Cavaliers, wins 2 championships in Miami, does his thing there, goes back to Cleveland, wins another championship there. And on this ride, you kind of get a little bit of a taste of like where he is like as a player. Is he dominant? Is he kind of like on the back burner a bit? And he's still dominant. He does, get dunks and all that, but you kind of get this feeling that he's kind of doing this the only way he knows how to do it, which is to build a super team. Now, I'm not saying that Cleveland back in the day was a super team when he won it. I mean, compared to Miami, that's not a super team to me. It was him, Kyrie, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. Who am I forgetting? I mean, he had like a bunch of players that he had on Miami back there. He even got Mike Miller, who was back there. But like, that to me was not a super team. Like Kevin Love, even like when he was there, he didn't play that much. He didn't get the ball that much. I mean, come on. It was mainly LeBron and Kyrie Irving. Those guys won and Tristan Thompson. Those guys were the main guys. And Tristan, could you call him an elite player back then? Maybe. But not like, the level of like Chris Bosh. Like Chris Bosh was good, real good back then. And he's, unfortunately he got blood clots in his legs or lungs, I think, which was horrible. But I don't think that he would be on the level of Chris Bosh, Tristan Thompson. I don't think so. But again, like you got this feeling that he can only do this his own way, the LeBron way, the super team way. Which again, like I hate this about the NBA. This is the culture now. The super team is the only way to win a championship. I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. Like you got to have the better team to be the best. I mean. It is true. He's not lying. It works, every time. But it just seemed like it's so manufactured with this guy. It's so like he's the catalyst. He's the one who leads it all. He's the guy who's like, we got to get this guy. This guy, I only play with these guys that I want to play with. Like there's no like way that he like was going to keep Lonzo Ball there. Like Lonzo Ball was just not the fit for him. He was not the fit. I mean, everybody in LA wanted Lonzo Ball to work in LA. But LeBron got there. LeBron drove him out. Like, you either keep Lonzo from UCLA and everything that you guys wanted, with LeVar Ball and his brothers and all that, the pride of LA, you either keep him or you get me. LeBron James is like, oh, we're taking LeBron. We're taking LeBron all the time. So it's like this whole thing that he projects like this owner mentality. Like he's the big owner, the GM, whatever. He has like he projects like he has so much control over the organization and even over the league. So like it is kind of weird about that. But where I really like kind of grab with him is like he's become a bit of a baby lately. These past few years, he's been a pretty big diva. Like he gets fouled. Air quotes fouled, he'll like go down, he'll scream, he'll like plead to the ref just like a baby, man, like a real baby. Like that's one of the bigger problems I have. Like not like the super team is bad, but like just being a baby on the court, man, like a big ass baby. Like, dude, you're a grown man, you gotta get it together. This is gonna be tough. It is tough. It's fucking NBA. What are you doing? And I feel like that's just something that I don't want my team to have is like a big giant baby for their leader. Like it just makes no sense. And it's getting bigger and bigger now because he's getting older. He's got to make excuses. Like, he's like this past week, I think he said like, I'm never going to be 100% healthy ever again. My ankle is terrible. It's killing me. And he said, I might never be 100% ever again. I was like, come on, LeBron, come on. Now you're already saying this just to be like, oh well, I gave you a reason back in the regular season, so you should have expected us not to make the finals or not expected us to win it all. It's like, dude, now you're just creating excuses. You're creating like this stupid thing that, oh, he's not healthy, or oh, he's never going to be healthy because he said that. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Honestly, like, Michael Jordan would never say that. Never. So it's like you can't even compare yourself now because you're just you're selling yourself short. You're saying that we're not going to be good. And then he's like against the play-in tournament now because he potentially might be in it. It's like, dude, you are being a hypocrite and a baby at best. He's LeBaby. LeBaby James. Like he that should be a new rapper name. If he goes into being like a music artist or a rapper, hip hop artist, whatever, he should be called LeBaby. LeBaby James. Like that would be so, that'd be funny as hell. But my main point is he's becoming more and more of a baby, a once dominant, enthusiastic, athletic, taking the charge player who came into the league when he was out of high school, right? King James, after all, the chosen one, is becoming softer and softer and softer. And I think it's because it might be because he's getting older, maybe because everything doesn't go his way all the time. And he's so entitled and so he gets everything that he wants in the NBA. So it's like one thing doesn't go his way, he complains. One thing does, he cheers and we love the NBA. One thing doesn't, he's like, we play for them. I mean, we make their money. It's like, bro, you can't just flip-flop like this. This is hypocritical. This is stupid. This is just, it makes you, again, LeBaby, like more and more cases of you being LeBaby James. I don't know. That's just what I think about it. He used to be good. I liked him a lot back in Miami and even in Cleveland for a bit. But once he went back to Cleveland and then LA, it's just like, oh my God, he's becoming the baby is just coming out again. LeBaby again and again and again. It's like, come on, man. He used to be not taking bullshit. Used to be great. Like, again, it's happening and again and again and again. Like, whatever. Like, you don't see this with Kevin Durant. Now I get that Kevin Durant is not like helmed as the best player in the NBA. LeBron is every year in and year out, every fucking year. He's the best. He's the best. He's the king. King James. He's the best. Well, I don't know, man. His whining and his babying is just like making me think that he's not the best. I mean, much as you want to say about Kevin Durant being like a troll online, or maybe he's a bit sensitive online, the guy doesn't really complain about anything on the basketball court. He plays the game and just like wants to win every game, really. He doesn't want to win it by like being a baby about it. The more I think about it, the more I think that Kyrie Irving was right. He was saying like he's kind of like he is a baby. Or on the line, along the lines of like saying that he kind of like, I'm paraphrasing, but like, dude is a baby, big old baby. But what can I say? This is he's doing this. This is his path. This is how he wants to play it. I get that he's getting older. I get that he's, not as athletic or not as young or not as fast or strong. I get it. I understand. But you already have so many things going, at you. Don't make any more excuses. Just let it be how it is. Don't try to, hide things. Don't try to make things up or say it's this when it's that. Don't do that. It gets old. And like, again, we're people. I can tell when you're bullshitting. I can tell when you're lying. I can tell when you're being hypocritical. I can tell when all this is happening. I can tell. I'm not stupid, LeBron. Just because I don't make as much money as you, and I don't play in the NBA, and I don't play for the Lakers, I'm not stupid. I know when people bullshit people, when they make excuses, when they become babies, when they say cry wolf, and when they make excuses, man. I understand that. I see it, and I'm not stupid. I can see it with you. Again, I'm saying it like I'm a big fan. I'm not anymore, but like, he is the face of the NBA, so it's like, are we going to really keep pandering to this guy? I mean, come on. Really? ESPN needs to fucking get off his cock already. Get off his fucking cock. It's over. It's played out. It's predictable. Please pick somebody else. I'd rather have Steph Curry. Steph Curry is such a cool guy. He seems nice. Doesn't seem like a fucking baby. Even though he is smaller than LeBron, weaker than LeBron, slower than LeBron, he's not as big as a player as LeBron. He's not babying. Why are you babying LeBron? Come on. I don't get it. I think it's because Steph Curry knows deep down that those 3 championships were all like done, with homegrown players, him, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, back in the Andrew Bogut, David Lee back in the day, even Zaza Cheap Shot. Eventually, Kevin Durant, that was a big signing, but like Harrison Barnes, all those boys, Kevon Looney, those guys, it was more of a homegrown effort. It felt earned. Even though that they were really good and they kind of got made it predictable as well, they weren't making the team super. It just felt more organic. It felt natural. It felt like they just struck gold. You know, with the players that they had, the draft picks, the coaching changes, it just felt natural, but it felt good. It felt like a good natural, like it was earned or something. Like it wasn't like manufactured or given. I hate using that word, but it feels like every championship that LeBron wins just feels more and more manufactured. Every single time it happens, manufactured as hell. Manufactured as hell. Like, I mean, look at this. The Lakers had Rajon Rondo last season. Right? He's gone now. He's gone because he's like, LeBron's like, oh, he's getting older. He was good for me this one season, but now he's gone. You know, I get it that you got to change it up with the team and all that. You got to change it up every once in a while. I get that. But it's like, it's so obvious when you do it, LeBron. It's so obvious. So, like, that's why it feels manufactured. Don't be so manufactured, man. Let it become natural. And I get it. I'm sure that he regrets being in Cleveland for those 7 or 8 years, whatever, before he went to Miami. Because, let's be honest, he wasted a lot of time there. You know, just, you know, trying to do it all himself with you know, he had some good players like Anderson Varejao who came back again, but like Mike Brown coaching, he had a big window that he knows that he wasted a lot of time with. No, you know, those first years in Cleveland, he wasted a lot of time. And now he's playing catch up. He wants to be, I feel like he's going to like try to line up his contracts with like, because he had 4 years when he signed with the Lakers for the first time. He played 1 with Lonzo, 1 without him, which was last year when he won the championship. Now he's got 2 more on this coming contract, and then I think he signed 2 more years, so he's going to be there for I think 4 more years. So you know in his mind he's trying to beat Kobe or tie Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, by the way. He's trying to tie Kobe at least. He's trying to tie him very badly, and if he can, he wants to tie Jordan, and like, you know, make it so like he, you know, he was the, you know, the as good or if not better than those guys, which in my opinion he won't be either way, because those guys just had a winning mentality. They had a winning mentality, a winning drive, no bullshit, anything. Just like, I'm fucking gonna go and beat you at everything, and I'm gonna beat you to the, you know, everything. I'm just gonna beat you down and win this game and be a champion. Not just manufacture everything into like, I get it. The Bulls back in the day, you could have said that they were manufactured. Watching The Last Dance, you know, with the coaching changes and all that. But it was like, it was more, you know, it was like Michael Jordan had to evolve and fail and fail and fail so many times and get better and better and change up his game and more and more. I'm not saying that LeBron doesn't do that, but nowadays when he just complains and babies and it's just, oh, it defeats the whole hard work thing, because it's like, you're making excuses, man. Stop doing that. Anyway, I figure I stop ranting on that and end the show. Yeah, good show. Solid. I hope we got through everything that we had. Dennis, give this woman a sandwich, please. NFL draft, got through that. Aaron Rodgers, what's gonna happen with him? Can you believe it? Aaron Rodgers is not gonna be a quarter or Green Bay Packer anymore. Aaron Rodgers no longer a Packer. Wow, it's crazy. I can't even picture that. But it's happening. He'll be gone. LeBron being a baby and all that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, you can find me on YouTube at YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. Listen on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And make sure on Apple Podcast you rate and review. Go scroll all the way down to the end of the episode list, and it'll be like an option where you can rate a star rating and a review. I appreciate that a lot. And again, Spotify as well. Pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts, I think, is where my show is. And remember, you can find all that on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. And I will see you next week.